But I want to start with that story confirming that Kaylee had a stalker. So take me to that whole situation with the business in town and what you found out.
Yeah, this was interesting, Ashleigh, and we didn't expect it. We went to this vape shop in downtown Moscow looking for surveillance video. I mean, we've been going all over the place just trying to get any new information. And the manager actually knew Kaylee and Maddie. They had been there 6 or 7 times. And then he had a lot to say about the potential of this stalker. Listen to what he told me.
So Kaylee and Maddie would both come in very happy, very friendly. You know, they always were just such a smile on their face. Just like pretty much you would say they're the light of the world, pretty much. You know, always happy, go lucky. They always came in just chatting. They always came with a group, like I said. They probably I'd say 4 or 5 girls at most, all the time. They come in together. And I made a joke about it earlier. It was like, you know, hey, you know, coming together and stuff like that. You know, just it's nice to see you girls trying to stay safe. One of them more or less openly says, oh yeah, we've had a friend of ours be stalked before, so this is kind of why we all travel in a group like this. And just
was it Kaylee who said that? Do you remember?
No, it was Maddie who actually said that. So Maddie said it, and it was kind of like more mentioning, like motioning to Kaylee too, like who was right next to her. So you could tell that like they obviously all were trying to keep Kaylee safe, you know, and to be there for her as good friends. And then yeah, to know that a few weeks later, now I won't see them, you know, anymore or anything like that. So it's crazy.
How long before the murder about was that?
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks beforehand, because I was telling them I hope they had a good Thanksgiving break and everything like that too, because I didn't know if I'd see them again. So, because with a lot of the times with the kids, with the way after the pandemic, some of the kids leave in waves. So I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to see you this weekend or not. Hey, hope you have a great, you know, Thanksgiving with your family. And that was the last I saw them.
Did they elaborate any more on the stalker comment?
They more or less kept making the comment that it always seemed to happen either by the campus or down on Main Street. And the last time the Kaylee more or less made it sound like it seemed like it was down on Main Street, and that the person was coming from like around the Corner Club area, and then like as far as I remember, it's the guy who ended up like trying to go and talk to her, and then he gave up on it and he ended up walking away. So she thought she was being stalked up to a certain point, and then looked behind her and he was no longer behind her. So
I just want to make sure that I get it right. So
yeah.
Just tell me again exactly what you remember.
Just more or less, I made a joke about them being in a group, and they just said, yeah, you know, one of our friends and motioning to Kaylee that she'd been stalked recently, and so that had people constantly following her around. And it's not just a one-off thing, that this is apparently something that Kaylee had tons of issues with. That apparently she always had somebody who's constantly walking behind her like that. So, and it was more so at nighttime when they were out there drinking and stuff like that. Because I asked them, like, is it at school? And she's like, no, when I'm at night, going out to the bars or coming back from the bars. And again, living down that way,
did she specifically mention the Corner Club?
Not the Corner Club, but just in that general direction and stuff like that. So, the only reason I would assume the Corner Club is because that's the only bar that's down in that area anymore now. So, we used to have 2. One was CJ's and then the Corner Club. It's just Corner Club now, then a whole block before it mingles, so.
How many times did you see Kaylee and Maddie? How many times would they come to the store?
I'd say, now that I'm trying to think back in my head, I've only saw them maybe like 6, 7 times total. So I'd say probably since the start of this beginning of this year.
So we know that police have looked into the possibility of there being a stalker. Latest we know from police is that they've never found anything to corroborate there actually being a stalker. They looked into an incident, Ashleigh, you might remember, from mid-October from a business downtown, and said there was nothing there that they could figure out that it was actually a stalking incident. We're not sure if that's the same incident that Kaylee and Maddie were talking to the vape shop manager about, but certainly interesting to hear him say that.
It seemed like he had spoken with them multiple times and about that topic multiple times as well. What about surveillance video from his shop, that manager? Was he asked for it? Does he have any? Would it be helpful anyway?
Yeah, so he says police came to his shop a couple of days after the murders, and the video had been deleted there. He doesn't have cameras on the outside, but I guess they were still interested in video on the inside since the girls had been there so many times. But like so many other stores that we found, you know, the video deletes after a week or 2.
What about the police? Did he tell the same story to the police that he told you?
He says yes, and he mentioned that he has called the tip line, and also that the police had been in the store. So it appears that they are aware of the story.
Well, that's incredible because they had been saying that they hadn't found anything to corroborate it. And that sounds awfully like that fella heard them talk about concerns multiple times. Okay. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.